Rock stars. There's literally nothing like those wild parties. All I did was drink and party and go to rock concerts. So I got VIP access to a certain very hot rock star's room.
This was getting a little intense for my liking.
What's your problem?
Okay.
Look, bitch, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you're no better than the rest of us.
Hey, come on, you gotta go. I'll call you.
Hey, what would you say if I were to tell you that rock stars like Terry would pay for your attention and you would be a multi-millionaire because of it?
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Dupree, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
This is Vicky Judy. Orange is the new black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it live.
Hi, I'm Frida Parks. You are listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And nothing less. What's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Real Talk. We're directing the Jedi Council. I am the Director. We'll be with you for the next 120 minutes or so, give or take. Real Talk is brought to you by B2S Media. And we broadcast live via the World Wide Web on YouTube via the IE Network. That's youtube.com/IE Network TV. And of course, the social media itself, Facebook, aka Meta, and Twitter, the soon to be owned, maybe not soon to be owned by the Tesla guy, Twitter. But either way, we're on Twitter. We're on Twitch too. We got to really pay a little more attention to Twitch. You know, Twitch has been, I don't have, I got my, but we also actually are about to, we've been on it already, but we're going to be broadcasting more on like Spotify and stuff like that through Anchor. So a lot of our taped shows will go to Anchor, and then they'll be available via like Spotify and things like that, audio and video actually. So we're expanding, trying to expand our audience a little bit. Shout out to the chat room. Everybody that comes through, checks it out. Joseph Tanner, always holding us down. Appreciate you, buddy. And everyone else who comes through and says, what up? So this week, we'll talk a little bit. There's a lot of politics and controversy going on in the film industry this week. I thought that we'd take a little break from having a female co-host, which we'll probably get back to that next week. And let's just go ahead and talk some ish about some of the craziness that's going on in this industry, in the film industry, especially this week, particularly. Yes, I did go to college. I can say the word. So, weekend recap at the box office. Brought to you by BoxOfficeMojo.com and IMDb Pro. So, Jurassic World tops the box office at $145.1 million right there. So, that's what it grossed domestically. It did better, of course, internationally, which they all seem to do. 247 international. So far worldwide is $392 million and counting. It opened in 4,676 theaters on June 10th. So here we go, Jurassic World Dominion. Hanging in there, number 2 is Top Gun Maverick. Raked in another 50 some odd million dollars, which now puts the worldwide gross at $748 million, and I believe it has passed The Batman. I thought I saw a link or an article about that. Number 3 still made about $5 million this weekend. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And that is now at $930 million. So it's, I can guarantee you people, even when this comes, it's supposed to come to Disney Plus, I think later in this month or early next month. And I guarantee you they'll put it back in the theaters. They're going to try to make that Billy. They're going to try to reach that Billy. So, and number 4 is The Bad Guys, $2.5 million. And number 5, the Bob's Burger movie, which once again, I never even knew they had a movie. So cool. That is your weekend recap from June 10th through the 12th, the year 2022. So a lot of, like I said, a lot of craziness going on in the industry. A lot of, like I said, politics and controversy going on, right? So we'll get to that. We'll talk about some of the trending topics. We'll talk about the Buzz Lightyear movie that's banned in certain countries. We've seen this before. So just like, a couple of things. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the Ezra Miller. I mean, he's going to just ruin the Flash movie. People, this Flash movie may not even come out. Sorry, DC fans. This Flash movie may not even come out because this dude is just he can't stay out of the news. Bad news on top of that. He's not, been allegations of kidnapping. I don't know how true that is. They're allegations, so I don't know. But regardless of the fact, true or not, you just stay out of the damn paper, bro. Yeah, there you go. And of course, it's been trending for a while, and I just want to talk about. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week because we wanted to really give flowers last week and not do too much negative talk. I was hoping it would die down, but it's still going on. The racist Star Wars fans that are have sent nasty tweets and nasty messages to Moses Ingram, and it's like, man, it's crazy. You think like, what is wrong with these fans, man? And this isn't the first time it's happened. I remember John Boyega getting a lot of flack when he was out, when his films came out. So I don't know. We'll unpack all of that. We thank you for joining us, you being there and us being here. You're watching and listening to Real Talk with the Director of the Jedi Council. Hey, I'm the director. And I brought my Jedi Council with me. Well, one half is here, and I guess the other one will join us later. Ralph.
What's up, everybody? How you doing tonight, everybody?
Yeah, man. Yo, bro, it's like, what is the deal with this craziness that's going on in the industry? Now, we'll start with some good news. We'll start with our trending topics, and we'll do some good news. Jennifer Hudson has joined an elite club, the EGOT Club. She is now won a Tony, so she completed her EGOT, whatever you want to call it. Triple Crown. I don't know what the hell we call them. It's not.
She got all the major awards. She got
all the major awards. She has, obviously, for those of you who don't know, is if you watch this show and you're fans of this show, I know you know what an EGOT is. But
wait. Maybe you should, since we still looking for that female co-host, maybe you shouldn't say what an EGOT is. Let them figure that out. That should be a trivia question. What is an EGOT?
What's an EGOT? Oh man, that's too easy though.
No, because but you know how people get it wrong, because I mean I heard the term because Oprah Winfrey says that almost every. I'm sorry, not Oprah Winfrey. Whoopi Goldberg, she's an EGOT member.
Yeah, she is.
John Legend is an EGOT member. I think Barbra Streisand is an EGOT member. I don't know how big the crowd is.
It's Barbara. It's not very big. It's only like. Now with her added,
7 or 8,
it might be about 7. With her added, it might be about 8 of them. Now, it's an elite. It's still an elite club. I think it's less than 10. I think it's definitely less than 10. I'll look it up. Kev, what's up?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I think it's less than 10. EGOTs. If it isn't less than 10, it's right around that because of her being added to it. But
yeah,
either way,
okay, it lists the people. No, she is not one.
Who said that?
Well, and as a non-competitive award, no, Barbra Streisand is an EGOT, but I guess I don't see why.
Oh, you talking about Barbra Streisand? I would say, what do you mean she's not one? She is one. We're talking about Jennifer Hudson.
No, definitely Jennifer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Jennifer Hudson definitely is. I don't know how many it is of them. It's like 10 or less. It's not a big.
Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Oh, that's more than I thought.
17.
17. That's more than I thought. It must have grown over the last few years because I know.
But it says it also includes winners, including non-competitive awards. So that's like if you got a the presidential award.
Or if you got like
honorary Oscar.
I think to me, if it ain't something like a lifetime achievement or something like that, it almost don't count. Yeah. Come on. Like it should be competitive. They shouldn't stretch it. I hate when they do stuff like that. Like stop stretching stuff.
Trying to make it like everybody can win. You know what? You know what?
It's prestigious. It's prestigious. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry they're figuring, if you got one, then you're part of it technically. But it's like it feels weird if it's not a competitive award in that, not in a competitive category, unless it's a lifetime achievement award, because that's still based on your work. You know what I'm saying?
Lifetime achievement award or a Kennedy's honor. If it ain't one of those two, it don't count.
If it's just some honorary award that you got from that show,
from college,
it doesn't count.
But
that's with an asterisk.
You know what it is? What they trying to do? It's too many of us getting on that list, becoming EGOT. So they start to do it's like a participation trophy.
Oh Lord, I can't.
If you got what's that award? If you got an MTV Music Award, come on in.
That's gonna be next. You got a Blockbuster movie award. Come on in.
Come on.
We need that video by from Portuguese. All are welcome. All are welcome.
All welcome. Oh God, that lady was creepy, boy. When she said that, I was like, wait a minute, what is she doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it says here, winners of all 4 awards. I'm looking it up as well, and you said it's like 14 of them. Jennifer Hudson just got added. let's see. He got completed. He got this year.
Yeah.
Age of competition. Okay, but how do you know if it was competitive or not?
Well,
additional recipients of all four, including non-competitive or special honorary. No special honorary.
Like Barbra Streisand, like I said, like Barbra Streisand, she's got the Oscar, she's got an Emmy, and she has a Grammy. But the Tony Award, she got it says special Tony.
Oh, special Tony Award.
So I guess it's kind of like for what.
Well, it says here the special Tony Award category includes the Lifetime Achievement Tony Award and the Special Tony Award. So which one did she get? Did she get the Lifetime Achievement Tony?
Did she get the participation?
Or did she get the participation?
It just says started decade. That's all it says. It just says started decade. So I'm guessing that's based on
participation.
Yes,
see, you know what that was? That was just like, hey, Barbra Streisand should have got a Tony, but she never did. So let's give her one. That's basically what they're saying.
It's like mugs who don't go to college, but because the college feels that they did some great work, here's an honorary degree. You're a doctor.
So Liza Minnelli got the Grammy Legend Award. Grammy Living Legend Award is a special award of merit given to recording artists by the Grammy Awards. The music awards ceremony established. Okay, yeah. Living Legend Award, is that kind of like a lifetime achievement?
No, for Liza Minnelli that counts. That counts.
I'd say yeah for that one.
I'd say that one. Yeah, I'd say yeah too, because that seems like a lifetime achievement, your Living Legend Award. So this one here, James Earl Jones, Academy Honorary Award Oscar. That shouldn't count. I'm sorry. That's not a lifetime achievement award.
Well, that is. That's
the Academy Honorary Award, instituted in 1950 for the 23rd Academy Awards, is given annually by the Board of Governors of the Academy. The award celebrates motion picture achievements that are not covered by existing Academy Awards.
Well, yeah, because if anything, they probably said, well, listen, man, you're never going to win for Darth Vader or any of the voices, but you really deserved an Oscar for the voice. So let's give this man. But I guess it also still looks at his entire. If you're going with his voice, you got Vader, you got Mustafa, Conan.
No. It says for awards that are not recognized by existing Academy Awards. So like obviously they would like voiceover, or they would. Shoot, they should consider stunts, but I guess they don't. But that should be given at least. And then you have Harry Belafonte has a Jean Herschel Humanitarian Award. No, that shouldn't count.
No.
A humanitarian award, yes, you're a great guy, but that does not have nothing to do with your work. So that's not competitive.
Right.
I don't think that should count. That was an Oscar they gave him for that. That was the fourth award. And then Quincy Jones got it as his third award. He got as the Oscar that same thing, that Jean Herschel Humanitarian Award. Sorry, Q. You are a asterisk member of the EGOTs. You're like freaking Barry Bonds and all of them in the Hall of Fame. They got the asterisks because that was during the era of
the juicing era.
Yeah, the juicing era. Yeah, exactly. So him, Sammy Sosa, and Mark McGuire, they all got the asterisks next to them.
And we ain't talking Orange Juice Jones either.
Yeah, no, that's all asterisks because that was during the juice era. Yeah, right. Not Orange Juice Jones either. But now these other ones, they're all from competitive ones then, right?
Yeah.
The 12
the other 17. Yeah, they're
17. Right. They all wanted, in my opinion, they wanted honest. They earned it. You know what I'm saying? And that's no disrespect to any of these other legends that didn't get it the way these guys get it. But I don't like that whole participation trophy BS. You know what they tried to do that in as well? It has nothing to do with awards, but that's the same thing with the Brat Pack. You see how they kept like expanding the Brat Pack? Like, no. Stop bringing all these other people in. That's not the Brat Pack. The Brat Pack are the actors that was featured in that article that was called the Brat Pack. That's them. Stop trying to bring Tom Cruise and all these other people in on it he's not part of the original Brat Pack.
Wait. And speaking of Brat Packs, that dude from Stranger Things is the spitting image of Robert Downey Jr. If they ever do a Robert Downey Jr. biopic, they better cast that dude to play him.
What dude are we talking about?
Yeah, I ain't seen
the guy from spoiler alert.
No, just tell me which character. What character was it?
I don't know his name. The guy with the really long hair from the Hellfire Club. The main leader.
Okay. Got you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I forget the guy's name too.
I don't know what his name escaped me. But every time I see him, and you mentioned Brat Pack, and he just popped in my head.
Yeah. That is yeah, that's what I forget his name too. But like just since I was on that topic before we move forward, the original Brat Pack.
That's one of our questions. Don't be putting that information out there.
That's one of the serious questions.
You're giving away all the juice. You're giving away all the juice today.
Okay. Then that's fine. Okay, I won't give it away. But I tell you what, I'll give you a hint. Tom Cruise is not part of it. So
and that's a shame.
Stop trying to put Tom Cruise in it.
He's not part of the Brat Pack.
He is not a part of the original Brat Pack.
He's not.
He's not one of the original Brat Pack. I told you they started expanding it because people even RDJ they were trying to expand him into it because around that time he was making movies too, and he was in a lot of those movies. He popped up in a few of those Brat Pack movies, but he wasn't like one of the official ones.
Yeah.
So, but my point is, stop trying to expand it. It's the original whatever number. We won't put it out there. The original few.
I think it's 8 in the Brat Pack.
I want to say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's 8. It's 8 of them. Which is funny. Speaking of Brat Pack, there's this I always get these emails from these things that talk about fan theories, right? Mm-hmm. And they talk about fan theory. One fan theory that I remember them talking about is in The Breakfast Club. Their fan theory is that Ali Sheedy's character, right? I forget her name, but the misfit one was friends with Bender, outside of this because Bender never really teased her, and he didn't really go at her too much. And it's like, so you get the idea, like there was a theory that they might have been friends before that day, but I'm here to poke holes in that. That is not true, in my opinion, because number one, she literally said, "I don't have any friends." She literally said that when they was asking about when they were sitting around and they asked him, would you do that to me? Would you play me for your friend? She said, "I don't have any friends." That's one hint. Number two, he did tease her very briefly when she was biting her nails. He said some sort of slick shit to her. And she spit her nails out.
I think he said like hungry much or something.
He said something like that, and she spit her nail at him. Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, that shows me." It's funny how the people, the internet is hilarious, man. It's funny how they get into these big heated debates. I'm like, how are y'all having heated discussions over one fan theory? And it doesn't make sense because she literally says she has no friends. And remember when he first came in, when he said that to her and she spit her fingernail at him, he said, I've seen you before. And he just kind of pointed at her. But if you already knew her, you wouldn't say, I've seen you before. You know what I'm saying? If they were actually friends. Before.
Maybe she was a customer. Maybe she was a
right. Maybe she came and got some weed from him or something.
And that's how I said, I've seen you before. You don't know her, but I know you, but I don't know you.
Right. I've seen you before. But, anyway. But I think that's funny. They always put these different fan theories out there. I'm gonna start bringing some of those to the table because I get emails on them all the time.
I got a fan theory for you fans. Who should have been out? Who else should have been in the Brat Pack? There's some actors from that era that you could sit to say, you know what, they should have been in there too, but they just never were. Who do you think should have been in the Brat Pack? Because I got about, I think four other people that should have been in there that I would put up into there, but they just aren't part of the original. But there's four that I certainly would. And Tom Cruise, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Tom Cruise at that point in time when the argument came out, I wouldn't consider him for that. Well, that's pre-Top Gun. So no. But certainly Matthew Broderick. I would have put in there Sean Penn. Yeah. I probably
I say everybody from the Outsiders.
No. He said everybody. Here's the deal.
Maybe, but from the Outsiders, maybe Diane Lane.
I'm thinking my only outside person that I'm thinking possibly because I've seen her pop up in a few of the films is Jennifer Jason Leigh. Maybe
her too.
Jennifer Jason Leigh, because she popped up. I've seen her in quite a few of the films with some of these people, and there is, I say her. I'm not sure if somebody texted me said James Spader. I don't know.
No,
not James Spader. No. He was a little older.
Yeah, but
plus the Brat Pack. I think some of these guys that were older. I don't know if they, because most of those other guys like Tom Cruise and Patrick Swayze, they were older than a little bit older than them.
Well, Tom Cruise is still. Tom Cruise is still in his early 20s, so he would have fit in there. But take out Risky Business. What else would you? You really wouldn't have gave him any credit for Endless Love because he's barely in that. You wouldn't really give him any credit for Taps. He's barely in that one. So take out Risky Business. What else you got? You really got nothing.
The thing is this. To be honest with you, one of the original reasons why they even referred to them as the Brat Packs because they were often seen in movies together. You know what I mean? Or at least 2 or 3 of them would appear in the same movie together. Mm-hmm. All right, and they had that string of movies, the John Hughes films, Joel Schumacher's St. Elmo's Fire. That's where that's where it kind of started, right? So everyone from there, and then they started showing up in the same movies together and stuff like that. So, but it really kind of started with St. Elmo's Fire because that's where they all kind of started, right? And then you see them, then you got Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink and this and that, so different ones start showing up, right? What was 16 Candles, So that's why they were kind of further. See, the other ones that we're talking about, they popped up in maybe one of the films. You know what I mean? You might see one of those other ones pop up, just like RDJ was in what's the one with when they created the girl?
Weird Science. He's in
Weird Science, right? He was in Weird Science, as one of the bullies, one of the boyfriends, So that's the only one I remember seeing him in, though. But was he in Less Than Zero? Was he in that?
Oh yeah.
He's in Less Than Zero. So that's
cool. He was star of Less Than Zero.
Yeah. He's in
he was in what I remember called The Pickup Artist with Molly Ringwald. No, he's
in Pickup Artist. That's true. That's true.
He's in back. That's what I'm saying. You could say in that around
he
that
might be someone that you could add to the Brat Pack.
Think about it. You could really
And
think
see,
about it.
that's why you add James Spader, because James Spader was in that. He was in Less Than Zero. What was James Spader in?
Well, he's in Some Kind of Wonderful. Some
Yeah.
Kind of Wonderful.
Yeah.
But
True.
I just don't. He just.
I mean, like I said, what you call it? We just mentioned the 3 of RDJ, right? Because he was in Less Than Zero, he was in Weird Science, and he was in the Pickup Artist, right? With Molly Ringwald. So that's Molly Ringwald. So he's in with Molly Ringwald. He's in with Anthony Michael Hall in Weird Science, right? And then he's in what was it? Pretty in Pink. What was he in?
He's in Weird Science. He was in the Pickup Artist, Less Than Zero,
and Less Than Zero.
And I said Back to School.
Less Than Zero was McCarthy. So they was with. He was in with 3 different, members. So
he got. He might have to consider him.
You know who you throw in there as an honorable mention? Damn, why his name escapes me now. He was in the Tornado movie. God damn it! I love Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
Nope.
Nah, I don't think Paxton should go. Nope. He's a little too old too.
Speaking
of, I was just watching Tombstone the other day. God, I love that movie. That movie too. That you could kind of create your own little Brat Pack type of crew from Tombstone because it was so many people in that. You know what I'm saying? Kurt Russell, Bill Paxton,
Val Kilmer, man.
Val Kilmer,
Gotcha, Huckleberry.
Yeah. I'm your Huckleberry. Yes. What's my man name? You know, he's always playing in the cowboy movies. Sam Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Elliott. Then you had Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton. Like all these people popped up in this movie. I was like, yo. Then you had Billy Zane.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, man. You had a lot of people.
Freaking. Even what's his face too. Oh man, what's his name? My man who.
You got what's his name in the movie too? From Terminator.
Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn is in
it. My man from what who used to be on The Walking Dead, and then he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. What's his name? He's in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's the dude who basically is Quill's father. That dude was in it too.
Oh hell, he still owe me a salad. Bastard still owe me a salad. He stole my salad.
Stole your salad.
He did. He did. So we was at the Comic-Con chiller and trying to have ordered everybody in her group a bunch of food. So the food came. He come over there because he was right next to us. He comes over there and he just takes the salad like, thanks. And it was like, that's mine. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Can I get a picture? Nope. $20. It's like, you bastard.
Yeah, that's hilarious. But he was in it too. I can't think of his name right now. But so many people from this film have went on to, to have pretty decent careers.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them already had decent careers when they did it.
Most of them were already big or just on the come up.
Yeah. Michael Rooker, that's his name. Michael Rooker.
Like the Corey, the 2 Coreys. At that time, would you have put them into the Brat Pack? The 2 Coreys, Feldman and
they kind of had their own thing, and they came after them. They came after them, though.
But still, I mean,
they kind of had their own thing. To me, they're from you could create an era of actors because they're from that era of actors, but their own era, not the era of the Brat Pack. They came after the Brat Pack. So you want to call them the Brat, the new class. If we want to make classes of the Brat Pack,
I like that. Because I'm putting I'll put Kiefer Sutherland is in the next generation of the
next generation of the that next generation would be Kiefer Sutherland. It'd probably be Kevin Bacon. It'd probably be what's her name? Julia Roberts. You know, like she would be in that next that next class of Brat Packers, right?
Yeah.
You know, like that would in the Coreys. I'd put the Coreys in there.
Yeah, I think I'll put the Coreys
maybe Jason Patrick, maybe
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra, did she? If you put Sandra, you gotta put
that's the next
Keanu. That's the next. I think that's the next.
That's the next one. But
Keanu, Sandra.
No, Keanu will go into that classification with Kiefer because beyond Bill and Ted, Parenthood, and hell, Joaquin Phoenix will go into that because nobody knew who he was when he was in Parenthood. He was still a little kid, but boy.
But before him would have been River
his brother.
Phoenix. See, River Phoenix would have been in with the Coreys, I think, because they were around the same age when they came. Like River Phoenix, the Coreys, and the other dude. Who else was out at that time? But the Coreys was doing their thing because they dominated for a minute. Like they had a moment where
they did.
They were really hot. Like and then they started growing up and they started doing movies together. And people were not comfortable seeing the Coreys like having sex and stuff like that. Like they started doing movies as they got older where they having sex and stuff like that. And people were not, for some reason, weren't ready for that because they just was used to seeing these dudes grow up, right, as kids.
Now I'm for a question, right? Now we said like the Brat Pack Next Generation. Does Michael J. Fox go into the Next Generation? The second version of the Brat Pack?
Maybe.
Because I mean, you really because
he had his moment too. Because after even besides the Back to the Future movies, he had started getting a lot of work too.
Yeah,
he started getting a lot of work.
But I think I would put him in there beyond Back to the Future, but you just can't forget Family Ties. I mean that guy.
Family Ties.
Without him on that show was nothing. I'm honest with you. Without him on the show was nothing.
That's what puts him in a class by himself. He doesn't even. He's not even in the pack. He's out there in war.
Well, he was one of them. He made that, he was doing his thing. But there was another movie that he had the movie Life with Mikey.
Yeah. I like Doc Hollywood. I like Doc Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood. Yeah. And then there was another one called
The Secret of My Success.
Secret of My Success. That's the one I was thinking about. He was hot for a second. It was like, yo, let's get it. I was there for it every minute of it. That was my dude. He still is. I'm just saying that's nothing to do. But let me tell you though, Tombstone is just such a masterpiece. I've been watching like my top 5 movies of all time like the last few days just for the hell of it. I have watched Godfather, I watched Tombstone. I'm like, I watched Godfather because of that show The Offer that's on Paramount right now. It's a really good show about the making of The Godfather, and it's from the perspective of Al Ruddy, who was the producer of the film. It really gives you a perspective of how much a producer goes through. And I can tell you right this, I'm nowhere near Al Ruddy's level, but I just recently produced 2 films in the last 2.5 months. I produced 2 films, and I tell you, boy, it is tiring. Like the producer pretty much does everything, and I mean everything, but everything that no one else wants to do, the producer has to do. So it's just like crazy when it comes, and they're the only person that's involved in every aspect of the production, from pre-production with the writing, overseeing all of that, to the production, talking to the directors and helping get the directors hired, and managing budgets and all that stuff, and to post-production, like they're in and to marketing, to all the way to the screening, and Al Ruddy, man, he's been through some stuff, man. But that movie is so great. And I was watching a documentary on the the making of it. There's many of them out there, but with this particular one I was watching, there was a lot of different directors that was making comments on it. Like people like Steven Spielberg and Guillermo del Toro, and a lot of people was making, and they just talk about how important this movie was, because it changed filmmaking, at its time, especially mafia filmmaking, because it was the first film to actually use authentic Italians and really show the lifestyle of, put that Italian family spin on it, right? Because that was one thing that they couldn't, which I found out from watching the show. From Al Ruddy's perspective, they said that they were not allowed to say the word mafia because the actual mafia was not with that. You know what I'm saying? So
they were trying to scare them off. They said,
they had to take the word mafia out of the script completely. And, all the major problems that that film had even being made from the producer. Al Ruddy got fired once or twice, and they brought him back. They tried to fire Francis Ford Coppola. And so anyway, George Lucas and some of the other directors is just like, yeah, Francis, because they had their company together, him, Lucas, and they were like, yo, they told Francis like, yo, man, just do the film, man, and get the money, bring it back to the company, because he didn't want to do it at first, and then he only agreed to do it because he made some changes to the script because he didn't want it to be like. He didn't want it to showcase where it glorified mafia. At the same time, he didn't want nobody, mocking Italians either. You know what I mean? So, because all of the gangster films up until that point wasn't even played by Italians. Most of the gangsters, they were played by Jewish people and stuff like that. Not playing. So, the fact that he, the only people that weren't authentic Italians was Jimmy Caan and Marlon Brando, surprisingly, which he caught a lot of flack with him. But they just loved him because he did such a great job, as the Don. But it was good. But I brought that up just to say Steven Spielberg, and I told Kev this offline. Steven Spielberg said, I really love that film, The Godfather. He said the funny thing is, he said that movie almost made me quit filmmaking. He said it was done. He said it was done so well. I didn't think I'd be able to tell a story that good, the way the storytelling of this film was done. He said, I almost quit.
But you know what? As much as I don't like The Godfather, and as much as I think that it's overrated, the scale and the scope of The Godfather is enormous. I couldn't.
It's huge. It's huge. Go ahead.
Just the wedding scene. That's one of my favorite parts of that movie. Is that wedding scene, and just the back and forth between him being, showing him people coming to kiss the ring or ask for favors, then they go back to the wedding party, and that whole back and forth with just that. I was glad I got to see that on the
that was almost like they almost shot that documentary. They almost shot that like documentary style, the way that came through, but it's like all that stuff going on at one time. Jumping from one thing to the other. And yes, Joseph, I agree that yes, there were Jewish mafia gangsters. However, these were Jewish people playing Italian gangsters. That was the problem. They were Jewish actors playing Italian mafioso, mafia, La Cosa Nostra, gangsters. But that's that.
Like Joker, for example, I can't remember the person's name, but I believe it was Kevin Spacey. There was a movie that Kevin Spacey. The story was actually about it was a black man's story, but they changed it and they made the main character white.
Well, I mean, how many times you see that happen?
Too many times.
You see that happening too many times. But I mean,
but Joseph, that's what I was just trying to make a correlation so Joseph can fully understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he understands. So, I mean, once again, basically, The Godfather, it really did. Every time I watch it, I learn something else, or I look at certain shots, and I'm just like, yo, these are shots that's never going to die. Like these shots that Francis Ford Coppola did in this film. Like he brought you into. It was the first time ever that a film brought you into a world that you never knew about, because everything else it was more like campy before that, almost. Hey, copper, copper, like stuff like that. That's how it was. That was gangster movies. Stick about copper,
reach for the sky.
Yeah, reach for the sky. See, that was gangster film.
Oh man.
Funny about that too is that form of gangster spread through everything. That was in cartoons.
It was in cartoons and everything. Shutting up. Yeah. Okay, boss. Shut up. Rabbit. All right, rabbit. Stick 'em up. Yeah. So, yeah, that was how it was. But it brought you into this world, and it made it, their pitch was like, it's not about a mafia. It's not about gangsters. It's about a family. It's about an American family and this, that, and the other, So, yeah, not to harp on The Godfather all day, but, I thought that was really cool to see Steven Spielberg, of all people, say The Godfather was so good, it almost made him quit filmmaking.
Now that's a movie I would love if they what Phantom does, those Phantom events where they'll put the class movie. I would love to see The Godfather.
You just missed it, Ralph. They just did it 2 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I just saw it. I think it was March. Is it March or February or March?
Yeah,
I saw it.
That's something I would love to do. I would love to see that on the big screen.
Big screen again. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think that it the movie, man, it's just, to me, and it's funny. I mean, hey, and I understand some people, they feel that, they fall asleep. I never fell asleep on that movie. To me, it was so interesting because you're just learning about this family's lifestyle, just like all the different personalities in the family. You got the hothead, and you got the punk, you got and you got Michael, who you're not sure. I mean, that scene where he kills Salazzo and whatever in the restaurant, the police chief and Salazzo, that was the key scene, because they were about to shut the production down, and they invited the head of the studio to come down on set that day, and he was blown away. No pun intended. He was blown away by that scene, because that was the scene that Michael. Where this is where you
began to rise.
That's begins his thing right there, because it's the starting point of Michael on his road to becoming the Don. He had the gun. He had to do something that they explained through their dialogue has never been done. No one has ever gunned down a police captain. No one. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, what you're about to do is crazy. We don't even know what to expect, because it's never been done. And we're gonna catch heat, and he's the one that he showed his smarts by telling them, yeah, but he's a dirty cop. Why don't we put that out in the papers? We got people at the papers, we got people on our payroll. A dirty cop that got mixed up in the violence and got what was coming to him. You know what I mean? And he's like, yo, and they're like, whoa, okay, let's do it. And that's what they did. So I mean, every single scene that Francis Ford Coppola fought, and he fought for every scene. They wasn't gonna let him shoot in Sicily. They fought for that tooth and nail. I think they finished in Sicily. Like, they shot everything in New York, and then when they finally was done, they found the money to get to Sicily, because they were coming over budget, like everything. But Yo, Francis Ford Coppola.
It's all up there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. He just like, you know what? It means like, no, we can't shoot Sicily. We're gonna shoot it on the studio lot. No, we cannot imitate Sicily. He's like, that's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? He's like, Sicily. He's like, well, how are we gonna afford it? How are you gonna light it? You don't have to light it. The sun. You know, they're like, yo. They're like, well, what about? He's like, no. He's like, Sicily is so. We don't have to bring sets. It is a set. You know? He's like, and they get there and they kill it. So anyway, check out the show, The Offer. If you haven't seen it, it's on Paramount Plus. It's now entering, I think, its final episode. I don't know if they're doing any more. So it's probably just a little mini series. I thought they do seasons, but they're doing the final episode. It's a very good, and it's starring the gentleman that's in Top Gun right now.
Miles
Teller, and he's doing a wonderful job. I mean, all of the actors in here, and I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is where I'm gonna leave this alone and move on. The dude that they got playing Marlon Brando and the dude that they got playing Al Pacino, oh my God. The dude that's Al Pacino, if you close your eyes, you'll think it's Al Pacino talking. And especially the Pacino from back then, you know, because Pacino's voice changed. Now he's not that. You know, back then he was the soft-spoken.
He was very soft-spoken back then.
Yeah, he was the soft-spoken Al Pacino, and that's why they didn't want him to be the lead. They tried to fire him several times. They was like, that is not a leading man. He's short. He number one, everyone thought the leading man had to be blonde, you know. Short, he's brunette, he's soft-spoken, he's frail, he's not no war hero. They're like, he's not this, he's not that. And he just, he showed you, Michael Corleone showed me that you can be dangerous, you can even be angry and not raise your voice. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And my grandfather was like that. My grandfather, rest in peace, he was a very mild-mannered, quiet type of man. But when he was angry, you actually didn't even realize when he was angry because he always kept his cool. But his anger, I remember one time, I hear a story. I don't remember. I wasn't, there, but a story they tell me about. He used to, because my grandparents used to rent rooms to people, and there was a gentleman renting from him that was beating his wife, and my grandfather told him, I don't get in people's business, and I don't get in people's marriage, but you are not going to put your hands on a woman in my house. And the next time you do it, I'm going to throw you through that window. That's exactly what he did. The next time he caught the dude doing it. He was beating his wife, and my grandfather, without saying a word, went upstairs, dragged him down the stairs, and threw him through the bay window. Exactly what he said he would do. And then sat back down and had dinner. You know what I mean? So, I know Michael Corleone was that type of dude. He was calm, but he was very calculated. But at the same time, when he was angry, he very rarely raised his voice. The only people who made him raise his voice was his wife, of course, a woman. Kay would make him raise his voice because she knew how to get under his skin. And then one other time where he went after the house got shot up. Spoiler alert, who people may not have seen The Godfather Part 2. But when his house got shot into the bedroom, that was the one time I've ever heard him. He screamed like once or twice in the film. Yeah. Anyway, that was, check out The Offer. That's all I got to say about that in my Forrest Gump voice. So let's get to the trending topic.
I was watching this thing on. I was up late Saturday night, and CNN was running this documentary called The 70s. It was all about the 70s era of making movies, and man, there was so much good stuff in there that you've seen about Star Wars and about The Godfather, but there is a bunch of other things that over the years just has slipped through the cracks that you just forgot about. Like maybe all the President's Men or Badlands, the French Connection, I mean, and they spotlighted The Exorcist, and it basically said it was the scariest movie, and probably still is the scariest movie ever made to this day. But they were just saying how all these, and you said with Francis Ford Coppola, it was Spielberg, Lucas, De Palma. They all had their Scorsese. They all had their clique, and they all gave pieces of like how
they all worked together. They all helped each other.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg is actually, which I thought was interesting. He's actually responsible for the crawl in Star Wars. He said because when the movie came out. Now, I know a lot of you out there watching show don't remember, but when the movie I saw it when it first came out. When the movie first came out, there is no crawl. It was just blank. But he said, but you got to give people a backstory. So instead of filming this, just write it out. What's going on, and bam,
and then there you go. Yep, and then it became so famous, and it's in everyone now. You can't like if it's not in a Star Wars film, you're almost not validated. You know what I mean? You're like, wait a minute, what? So speaking, good segue. Let's talk about these Star Wars fans, man. What is wrong with them?
They're dumb.
What is wrong with these racist Star Wars fans that are, and we know that it hasn't started and it will not end with Moses Ingram. You know what I'm saying? It won't end with her. It didn't start with her.
No, it didn't. Here's my perspective with this one. Look, I don't know much about this young woman. I think her performance in the series is okay. She has spotlights where she could do better, but I think that's the role that's required. She's not supposed to be this badass inquisitor, because there's a guy named Darth Vader that you're not taking the spotlight from him. But
she doesn't take the spotlight from him.
No, I'm saying she could do it. But whether you feel she should be a badass or she shouldn't be a badass, whatever, just because this woman is black, you guys, and I'm talking to you Star Wars fans like myself out there, what is wrong with you people? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and if you can say, well, she don't even. Let's be clear. The guy that plays Vader, the voice that you all love, is a black man. You all love Lando Calrissian, who's a black man.
Right.
So what's the problem? What you think?
The funny thing is, I think a lot of them forget. They forget because because Anakin Skywalker is white.
But the voice,
the voice of Darth Vader, the person we knew before we even knew of Anakin Skywalker.
We gotta change that. The iconic voice of Darth Vader is a black man.
Let's pause because he's still doing the voice,
and he's still doing it.
Yeah,
he's been doing it since the 70s. He's still doing it.
He's still doing it, and the bottom line is. Even after he's no longer here, they will mimic his voice.
Yep.
He's already recorded, I'm sure, hours and hours and hours of enough audio for them to duplicate it, mimic it, whatever. I'm sure James Earl Jones has recorded enough audio for them to cut and paste a whole dialogue from his stuff.
And here's the funniest thing. When I was a kid, I didn't know that it was Darth. I was always saying Dark Vader.
Me too. I did it too. I used to call it Dark Vader because he had the black helmet and stuff like that. That's why I was like, oh, okay. Plus, I'm thinking the dark side. I always thought his name was Dark Vader at one point. Yeah, I remember that. Until I really paid attention. Yeah, no, I it as a little kid, I mean, I was collecting the toys and stuff like that. It's easy to mistake that and say, what's his name, Darth Vader, but the bottom line is,
it's like Han Solo. I mean, everybody says Han, but in the movie they call him Han. It's Han Solo, but they don't say Han.
Everybody say Han Solo, but it's Han Solo. Yeah. So, but the bottom line is, getting back to this whole nonsense. And the reason why we didn't get a chance to bring it up last week, I want to talk about it a little bit this week, because I don't understand. There's nothing in the Star Wars lore that leads you to believe that I don't understand where these
There's no
fans
black
coming
people in
from.
there.
Yeah,
What's wrong with you
first
folks?
of all, you're in the galaxy, you're in space. There's mostly creatures. It's not even all like humans, you know. And it's mostly some sort of creature or something like that. And they're all different types of things.
Yellow.
But then, okay, Empire Strikes Back. There was no black character until Empire Strikes Back. There was no black character in New Hope, right? So Empire Strikes Back comes, and you see Lando Calrissian, right? A major black, major character that's black.
Running the whole thing.
Right.
Running a whole city. Running a whole city.
Right. Running a whole city. Exactly. In the sky, in the clouds or whatever. So do you remember when I mentioned at the top of the show when John Boyega
went through the same
thing? I'm like, what is going on? But now I don't remember Sam Jackson going through it.
Nope.
Them niggas were scared to talk to Sam Jackson.
I pause, and I don't mean to no homo, but who is saying anything to Samuel L. Jackson? Who's saying anything? Who? Tell me who? What? And I'm gonna say it. What motherfucker is gonna say anything to Samuel L. Jackson?
Nobody.
Yeah, no, I know that. So I don't remember Sam Jackson. He never mentioned it, and I remember saying that. I don't know. I have to do some research. I don't know if Billy D. Williams caught any flack way back then.
No,
I don't think he did.
Nope.
I don't think he did. So now it's got to be these
millennials. It's these millennials.
It's the millennial Star Wars fans. That's and I don't even like to put it on them. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just late comers to the party. But you must not have been a Star Wars fan from back then. If you were a Star Wars fan from the new trilogy, from the first three, right? Episode 1, 2, and 3. And I still, like I said, we didn't hear about Sam Jackson catching any hell. So now this new version, this new era, the third trilogy, whatever you want to call it, that's where all of the bullshit start happening.
Mm-hmm.
John Boyega catching all types of flack, because he's a stormtrooper.
But see,
there are no black stormtroopers.
But that's ingrained. But see, that's ingrained in the culture. It's before John Boyega did that. It's always been ingrained that stormtroopers, quote unquote, were supposed to be white. They never supposed to be black. That's why it was such a big thing, because it was somehow mentally ingrained in these jackasses that a stormtrooper can't happen. It's a damn person in a uniform.
Yeah, and not all the stormtroopers are clones of Jango Fett.
That's what I was about to say. If you want to be technical, then Jango Fett. I mean, Tahara Munson isn't he Hawaiian?
He's a man of color. He's a person of color. Yeah, he's not white.
So people, once again, what's your problem?
So Boba Fett is a non-white.
He's a brother.
Right.
He's a brother.
He's Mexican Pacific Islander.
Yep. So he's non-white. And all of the stormtroopers that was made from his clone,
from Jango
Fett's clones, so how is it so? Now, with keeping that in mind, how is it so far-fetched that there's black stormtroopers? How is it?
Exactly.
How is it so far-fetched?
Exactly.
So now let's focus a little bit on Moses Ingram's. Like you said, you mentioned a little bit about her character, and she's obviously
she's kind of, to me, she's kind of dry, ambitious, but she's playing it kind of dry. And at times you look at her, you say, well, she's trying to be a badass, but it's just not coming over.
Well, here's the deal. Her character seems to be kind of written as a badass, meaning not a badass, but she's rebellious. She, like you said, a little bit ambitious.
She's ambitious. She's rebellious.
She's definitely ambitious. But she's rebellious too, in a way. But I think she has her own agenda, and this is just a pure speculation on my part. I believe she was one of those younglings that got away from the temple. And
a lot of people think that
I believe she's one of the younglings because number one, they showed that in the beginning. They don't show things for nothing. And number two, there was a little black girl in there with them. So I believe she was that little black girl that got away with the younglings. And because they also said the Inquisitors were people who were caught, and I think they were force sensitive, or they were training to be Jedi, and they were turned into Inquisitors. You know what I mean? So they probably ended up getting caught, or she probably ended up getting caught, and that might be why she has it out so much for Obi-Wan. You know what I mean? Maybe she feels some type of way. Maybe she feels that because Obi-Wan wasn't there to protect them from Anakin, because he was the one who
she felt betrayed.
Right. She felt betrayed. Anakin went to the temple and killed all them kids, and then all of them, Order 66, they all came there to the temple, and they got away. And one thing I wanted to say about that scene was, I'm almost wondering if that's the same scene that Grogu was involved in, because that scene, the way it played out, and you saw the green lightsabers and stuff flying around, and I was like, ooh, that might have been the same time. I guarantee you, I will not be surprised, because obviously Deborah Chow, who is doing a phenomenal job on the series, she worked on The Mandalorian. So I won't be surprised if they tie that in, because remember when we had Grogu's little backstory where he was remembering, he was seeing through his eyes, he was involved in Order 66. He was there when it happened. So, that's what it seems like, at least. I don't know. It may not be.
I hope not, because Grogu is post Empire. I mean, he's post Empire, after the fall of the Empire.
Yeah.
So if you're going to sit there and say that he was around while Yoda was still alive, then I'm like, well, why didn't Yoda know about it?
True.
I mean, I'm sure they could probably figure some way out to.
They'd have to figure out some way to tie.
I'm
just wondering. It's just that scene in that hallway really played out. It reminded me, gave me deja vu of Grogu and his memories, his thoughts, or whatever. Now you gotta remember.
Here's the thing: Yoda would, even if Yoda didn't know him, there wouldn't be no mention. There wouldn't be no need for Yoda to really mention him, because he's a youngling. So he's going to be playing with the rest of the younglings. So it's no real need. The only reason why he's a prominent character is because of his ties to the Mandalorian. Because if not for that, we still wouldn't know. He would still be Baby Yoda. We wouldn't even know who the hell he is.
Right.
You got a point there.
That's the point. He was a youngling, and remember, even if he was, we know that he's of Yoda's species. Is he related to Yoda? We don't know. But even if he was, Yoda was a true Jedi. Remember the Jedi way: you must let go of your family. Anything you care about, you must let go of to be a Jedi. And Yoda was a true Jedi. So even if he was related to Yoda, it doesn't matter. Yoda, he would have to let go of that, because
I'm hoping that they don't do that one. Let Grogu be in post, because that means that now you're saying that he's not a youngin, that he's at least 40 years old. Because we're looking at a 40-year time gap here.
Yeah, but for his species, 40 years old could still be a baby. Look how old Yoda was.
I know, but I know it's easy to throw it in there, but I'm just saying, don't do that. Just let him stand. Let Grogu be from post Empire.
But I mean, I'm just saying. But given his backstory, what else had happened where there was a bunch of because if he's post Empire, there was no Jedis really. So what else could he have witnessed a Jedi fighting stormtroopers, and then
Exactly.
he gets pulled out. There was no era of that, you know. So, I mean, I get what you're saying.
But now this series, you realize that all the Jedi didn't get caught. So what's not sitting there saying that he didn't see that some was a different Jedi, that he didn't
But what
see a different
temple? There's no more Jedi temples until Luke built his.
No.
There was no more Jedi temples.
You need to watch the show Rebels.
I've seen Rebels, but what I'm saying is, as of there's really no Jedi temples where Grogu could have been training, and then they get attacked by, I mean, it wasn't. I don't know if it was Inquisitors. It looked like it was just stormtroopers that was attacking them. If it was Inquisitors, that would make more sense.
I gotta go back because now I need to see what the stormtrooper's mask was. Which era is it? Is it the Clone War mask or the Star Wars mask? Because then it might come a little clearer. Like, oh, okay, now you know exactly. That's a good
point. Right, that's a good idea. I might look at that too, and we'll figure it out. So anyway, hate to keep veering away from Miss Ingram here. So the bottom line is, I think she's doing. Also, I don't think I'm not. I haven't seen enough to say that she's doing like a bang up job. I mean, she's doing a good job. You know what I mean? And I like her character because you had that one scene. It might have been in the first episode or the second episode, or one of them episodes, them early episodes, where you saw her agility. Remember when she was running across the buildings, the top of the
first
building?
episode, where she's jumping across building to building like nothing.
Jumping across the buildings and doing like showing her agility and stuff like that. So right there, they're trying to establish her as a badass, if that's the case, because that was badass what she did. You know what I mean? All of those, she got across a whole town. She got all the way across town, jumping from building to building. Right. So, and that also shows her tenacity and ambition and everything, And the first thing that came to my mind is, why does she have it out for Obi-Wan so much? And it has to be something personal. This is not just, I want to get in the good graces of Darth Vader. This is personal. Because she's going against the protocol of the other Inquisitors and stuff like that. And because of that, that shows me this is personal. So why else would it be personal? What did Obi-Wan do to her? I think what he indirectly did to her was he created Darth Vader. And Darth Vader is probably, her. I won't be surprised if she attacks Vader before it's all said and done.
I would.
Killing her.
I would. That'd be Moses. That'd be a dumb thing if you did it.
I wouldn't be surprised if her character goes that route, because especially if she is the character that I think she is. If she is this young girl, the youngling, the only black female youngling I saw in that scene. If she is that character of, let's be honest, she got good in her. That means she wanted to be a Jedi. She wanted to be a Jedi. So at some point, she's going to do one or two things. If she obviously don't be stupid enough to attack Vader, she's going to end up helping Obi-Wan by end of the show, because either help him escape Vader somehow, but she's going to but in my opinion, I believe she's going to do something against Vader. Yeah, she's going to turn against Vader at some point, because the way she's too, I don't know, like
she's too gung ho on Kenobi. What I think is going to happen, I might guess what I think is going to happen, and I'm going to give you some credibility with that one. I don't think she's going to attack Vader. However, since she knows that Vader is actually Anakin Skywalker, the rest of the galaxy don't know that. But, to me, that's another hint as to only person who would know something like that is someone that was there when it happened. You know what I'm saying? She was there. Obviously, if she was part of Order 66 and she was a youngling,
then I'm sure she knew that Vader came to the temple. I mean, well, Anakin.
Yeah,
He was Vader at that
knows,
time.
she knows Anakin came to the temple, but the question still remains: how does she know that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader? Because the only person that really know that one is the Emperor.
I know,
So
but what I'm saying, for her to know that, I think also, I don't know. I mean, because remember, when he came to the temple, technically he was already Darth Vader. He was calling himself Darth Vader. You know what I'm saying? So him coming to the temple, we probably have yet to see. If let's just say what our theory is right, then we know we got more in store to see. We're gonna see some more backstory stuff where she's gonna actually witness, Anakin / Vader, killing a Jedi or youngling or whatever, and she's going to. That's the only way she would know, because obviously, other than that, that battle on Mustafa or whatever, nobody really knew about that.
Nope.
And everyone just thought that he killed Anakin. So maybe she felt his presence. Remember, let's think about it this way. Let's bring Kev back. Let's think about it this way. If she was there when Vader, because remember, by the time he came to the temple, he didn't have a mask or nothing, but he was Vader. So she felt his presence then. Possible she could still feel his same presence. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, this is the same guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt his presence when he came to the temple that day, and he killed everybody, whatever. Now you run into him again, and it's like, oh shoot, this is the same guy. Like, this is Anakin. And that, like I said, and the fact that he's got it out for Obi-Wan, she would that's a dead giveaway for anyone that was around back then too. The fact he got it out for Obi-Wan, and he's been looking for him all these years. I want Obi-Wan. There's a reason. You know what I mean? So I think because she was there, I believe she was one of those younglings. And that's probably why she got it out for Obi-Wan so bad. She probably like, yo, you indirectly caused my pain and suffering, because they wanted to be Jedi. And that,
not to cut you short, Wes. And also, the other reason why she might know Anakin is A, because she was a youngling, and B, because if she survived that, or even if let's just say even if he pulled her from another planet, he probably fed bullshit into her ear. Whatever he was whispering into her ear is probably why she has such a hard on for Obi-Wan. So it only makes sense. It only makes sense that she was a youngling that survived, and then on top of all of that, Anakin's in her ear. Now, the only other thing that I could think of why she would be looking for Obi-Wan is because she's a plant. She planted herself there to get close to Anakin. That's what I think.
Well, I just said when you got cut off, I said yeah, you say she could be a spy, right? I think that she is one of the younglings that got away, and I believe that if she is, that means she always inspired to be a Jedi, and she has good in her. I think before the end of the show, she will betray Darth Vader somehow, either by helping Obi-Wan.
It was like 90 minutes long, so
either by helping Obi-Wan get away or something like that, or somehow, because somehow let's be honest, they can't write themselves into a corner here. Somehow or another, Vader's going to have to lose track of Obi-Wan again, because he doesn't see him again until they're old. You know what I mean? So
but wait. See, I think that's the problem that I got, because that Vader, that in this series him and Obi-Wan are going to fight again. They're going to fight again. But if they do a second season, there's nothing really saying that after the second time the next time they get in battle, they don't see each other again somewhere. I mean, this is a long, because like I said, it's realistically speaking, Luke is still a little boy, right? There's nothing
Right.
sitting there saying that somewhere in there they couldn't meet each other one more
No,
time.
that's true. I'm just saying. I mean, the whole thing though is something's gonna have to give, where he stops hunting Obi-Wan. You know what I'm saying? So something's gonna have to give, because when New Hope came into play, right? Obi-Wan was just back on Tatooine, and he was watching over Luke, and all of that stuff. So it's not like he was kind of like hiding in plain sight. So it's not like he was running from the Empire. You know what I mean? So something's gonna have to happen. That's going to, but I don't know. I think
I'll tell you what got him distracted is the beginning of the building of the Death Star.
Yeah, the Death Star. Yeah.
No, because the Death Star is already being the Death Star is already being built. It was already being built. Right, it was already being built. Starting
but where they are now is they're not at that stage yet.
Yeah, they are. Because if you the last movie,
they're just making the plans though. Because remember the Rogue One, they were trying to steal the plans to the Death Star.
Right. But what I'm saying in this,
Rogue One happens after this, I think.
Yes, it does. But at the end of the third chapter,
Revenge of the Sith.
Remember that they're on the ship and they're staring in space, and you see the outline of the Death Star.
Yeah.
So they're already built. So now, if Luke and Leia, and that's I'm gonna get to that point. But now Luke is he's about like 10 years older than us. So the Death Star is already halfway done.
Mm-hmm.
It's already being built.
Right.
But that's
Rogue One. No, wait a minute. Now that I think about it, this is timeline wise. This is not immediately. This is 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Right. So the Death Star is already halfway done. It doesn't get complete.
Then Rogue One had already happened.
No, Rogue One is 10 years later.
10 years later from
from this series. It's 10 years later. But it's 20 years from Revenge of the Sith. It's 20 years down the line, because now the last scene, Princess Leia is now a full-grown woman. She's who she is. So that's at least 19 years right there. Mm-hmm. At least.
Yeah.
Right. But in this, she's a little girl. But that's my other question. This is the other problem, is that you see Luke, who's about 10 years old, but then you see Leia. She looks about 7.
She's 10. She's 10 now. She said she's 10. She even said it. But it doesn't matter what she looks like. She's 10. That's her age. Yeah. She's 10. But I mean, I don't think she looks like 7. I guess she looks about it. She's just a short or whatever 10-year-old. But
so I agree with you. There's got to be something that's going to make Vader sit there and say, "Stop hunting for him right now." It's gotta. It ain't the Death Star. So what else could really be of that vitality that's that vital for him to sit there saying, "Stop hunting for Kenobi"? Because
either that, unless the Emperor just tells him stop.
Yeah, the Emperor could have told him to stop, but
the Emperor could just say, "Look, we got bigger fish to fry. Stop looking for Kenobi. He's a small factor in all of this, because the Jedi resistance is starting to build and stuff like that."
Well, I think what happens is, no, this is just me. I think, realistically speaking, you're gonna get Asano Tolo in here. I think you're gonna get her in the last episode, and now he becomes obsessed with hunting down his former
Padawan. Yeah, I mean, now they as you know because you saw Rebels, they do meet again in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
She
don't die.
No, she definitely doesn't die. But this is now, where does Rebels fall in? Rebels happens before this. Nah,
that's it. I think Rebels happens after. I think Rebels going on after,
because she was Anakin's apprentice.
Right.
In the Clone Wars, she was Anakin's apprentice.
Right. But I think Rebels, because see, I'm trying to remember. because I think
I ain't gonna lie. As much as I love the cartoon, I wouldn't mind a live action version of Rebels, man.
me either.
Especially now that we got Ahsoka, I would
see it too and go at it for real.
Because I want to see Ezra.
Because if they would have to, if they did that thing would have to be so accurate, because they would get Disney would get eaten alive.
I'd love to see Ezra or whatever his name is.
Maybe that's season 2 of and not forget, somewhere in here you still gotta. I mean, if they do a second season, you got another guy there named Darth Maul that's still living.
He still lives, yeah.
He's still out there.
He's still out there. He pops up in Rebels as well.
Yep.
Yeah, Darth Maul.
Even though he died, even though he got killed in Rebels, but we all thought he was taking out the Phantom Menace, but no.
And another thing, there's been a theory flying around that we might see Mace Windu
come back
in this series.
Yeah, and Jai Kwan. I mean Qui-Gon. That Qui-Gon might come in as a Force.
Well, Qui-Gon would be the Force Ghost because he's trying to commune with him, and like I said, you don't show something for nothing. They showed that scene where Yoda says, "I'll teach you how to commune with him, how to communicate with Qui-Gon." Why would you show us that if we're not going to at least get one time where he communicates with Qui-Gon? Maybe Qui-Gon is going to be able to advise him how to stay away from Vader or hide from Vader. You know what I mean?
And not for nothing, maybe you get Yoda in here, because if anybody could tell him how to evade, I mean, Yoda was on a planet and nobody knew nothing about. Like, what the hell was that happening?
Forever, too.
Yoda was smart. Yoda was hiding deep in the swamp. Like, ain't nobody coming.
Ain't nobody coming to
Dagobah. But nobody even
ain't nobody going to Dagobah.
But I'm saying, like, nobody even, because if you remember the fight in Empire, he said, all Vader can tell him says, Kenobi trained you well. Well, dude, it's 3 years later. You killed Kenobi, so somebody had to train me. But how come you don't know about Yoda?
And once again, Yoda was like retired and in Dagobah, and ain't nobody going out there.
But think about it. If you're hunting somebody, but if you're hunting somebody down, if you're really hunting somebody down, and you find out, like, okay, Wes, you hunting Kevin, you said, but I found out that dude is living in the subways, in the subway system underneath the subway in New York City. If you really want to kill him, aren't you going down there to go get him? Or somehow flesh him out, or do something to flesh him out.
I ain't going down in no damn subways with all the rats and I'm good.
You go down there and you got and you got an army backing you up. So it's not you ain't even gotta go in yourself. You got an army backing you up. Nobody knows where Yoda is at.
Nah, man, he's that powerful. He was probably able to cloak himself. You know,
he had to cloak a whole planet.
But here's the thing. No, he didn't have to. You don't have to cloak.
He just has to cloak himself, because there's other things that's detected on that planet, other creatures and swamp creatures, stuff like that. I mean, and remember that that we don't know how far that it seemed to be kind of far. We don't know exactly how far the Dagobah system is from where everything is going on. He went far though. I mean, obviously, if you're powerful enough, you can hide it. Because remember, that was the whole thing. They were able to hide Luke and Leia from Vader. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But however, Luke and Leia's powers weren't discovered yet. Yoda is full Jedi Master. There's just no doubt about it. So
because he's a Jedi Master, that's probably why. I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't fronting. The Darth Vader is that bad, mother. You know what? But that don't mean he wanted any smoke with Yoda.
So you got to remember, and Ralph, the one thing you got to remember too, Yoda has been using the Force much longer than Vader.
Yeah.
So he's able to really cloak himself to where he can't be. I'm still trying to figure out how Luke used the Force to guide. Well, you know why? Because Ben Kenobi was guiding him through the Force.
Right.
That's how he got to him. That's right.
That's why I'm thinking Qui-Gon is going to somehow help. Because remember, Kenobi, he was very strong in the Force too, and
that's why he let Vader kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
And what did he do? He was able to communicate through Luke as that Force ghost.
Yeah,
and tell him stuff, which I'm sure.
Which is why he said, "You strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you'll ever know."
Because he had that talk with Qui-Gon. He's like, "Yo, bro," he's like, "Yo, brother, this is what you do. This is how you do it."
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. I overall though, I definitely give props to her. I feel bad that the people, people are just stupid, but she's taking it very, she's doing it the right way.
Professional.
Yeah, she's very professional about it. And and at the end of the day, how can you not be, man? You doing your thing. You got a character that's very, a prominent character in this series. She is pretty much she is the female lead of the series. If there's a female lead, it's gonna be her. And so and there's more to come. We've only seen the tip of the iceberg. So kudos to Miss Ingram on her job over here and everything that she's doing. And I knew that was her when I saw her in the ambulance. I was like, oh, that's the girl from Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw her in that, she played the dude's wife. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's the girl.
I like what she said when she said, "Others have told me to keep quiet. I ain't built like that."
Yeah,
that's the sister talking right there.
That's what that was. She said, "Wait a minute." So now let's get to this idiot who's about to ruin his life, career, and the movie for all DC fans. He's about to ruin something for them. So Ezra Miller is back in the news, as we know. This dummy, and that's what I'm gonna call him. He's dumb for doing this. Ezra Miller now is,
or is he?
He's in question of kidnapping. He's been alleged to have kidnapped this young girl. I think she's still a teenager.
No, she's 18.
She's 18. Well, that's a teenager. So she's still a teenager. She's not a minor anymore, but she's still a teenager. So Ezra Miller, daughter of parents who filed restraining order. So she had made some sort of statement or whatever on Instagram saying I'm okay and Ezra Miller has not kidnapped me. I'm just paraphrasing. She's basically saying no, right? So anyway, this guy now, the parents has filed the restraining orders and they're saying he kidnapped her. And I mean, this guy just cannot stay out of the news and bad news. He is going to mess around. Warner Brothers gave him another opportunity. They were going to cut ties with him when all the other stuff came out about him, the violence and stuff that he was doing. They were going to cut ties with him then. They decided not to. And they said, okay, well, they didn't recast him. They didn't cut ties with him. Now you got all of these things circulating, and he's in question of him that he was messing with this girl when she was a minor, grooming her, as they say. And now that she is no longer a minor, it's really nothing the parents can do. They're at that. This is at that phase where, unfortunately, the parents can't really do anything. And to be honest with you, they probably should have did something a long time ago while she was still a minor, because there was things that I read where they were saying, oh, he flew her out to this place and that place while she was a kid. Well, why did you let him fly her out anyway? Yeah. Okay, that's number one. I don't care. See, this is the problem. This is what happens and what unfortunately everybody leaves out of the equation. And this is by no means justifying anybody's actions against a minor. That includes, and I'm saying that because I'm bringing up R. Kelly too. When it comes to certain things that was done with minors, when it comes to like, flying them somewhere, taking them somewhere, and this is after the whole thing. Parents that were allowing R. Kelly to take their kid somewhere. Oh, he was gonna bring her to the studio and cut a record with her, but now you're letting her go with R. Kelly by herself. I'm using that as an example. Doesn't justify what R. Kelly does. I'm just saying these are the factors that are always left out of the equation. I say the same thing about these parents. There was somewhere in one of the articles where they said, yeah, he's been grooming her. He's had, so how's he had all this alone time with her? Why have you let her be alone with him all these times? And if you ever had, so you're gonna tell me you had no inkling of a notion that something's not right here. So when they talk about a man flying, a grown man flying a minor somewhere for anything, why aren't you with her? Why didn't one of you go with her?
I think the other thing too, what gave them the cover up was didn't she star in a couple of things? Wasn't he having her appear in some things?
I think it said that she was in Justice League. I think that's what it said.
Was she in Justice League? I don't know. I gotta look that part up again. But my point is this. The parent says, we're concerned about our daughter's safety and want her to get out of this situation. We're worried about all the worst case scenarios. Our daughter's basically brainwashed, right? But my thing is this. If he did, in fact, brainwash your daughter, it started when she was younger. So what I'm saying is, how did it get this far? That's my question. How did it get this far? I have two daughters now. I have one daughter who is a grown woman, but Kev, you raised a daughter, and it's like, I mean, how did it get this far? Of course, we know when kids get a certain age, there's nothing you can do. Once they reach that age, that 17, 18, whatever, it's a little harder to make things happen, especially 18 once they become quote unquote legal. So
my daughter was 16. She was dating her mother's best friend's son.
Mm-hmm.
He lived in the Bronx. We live out here on the South Shore of Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
I showed her how to take the subway because I always said that. And I always show my kids, listen, you need to know how to get around. And the only reason why he was allowed to date him, because his dad was a cop, and they met her at the subway, and they drove her back home, or I went and picked her up.
But see, that's a whole nother thing, because that is a consensual thing. Parents know that she's, dating, whatever. But this is the situation. But some random dude, not random, but some dude that's older than her is gonna, if your daughter came to you when she was 15 years old and said, Dad, this guy he could even be a celebrity, he wants to fly me out to so-and-so. You know what I'm saying? Because
also, and they live on a reservation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
And see that's the other side to it too. If I don't know how many people know about reservation life, but it can be a little while. It can be a lot, and I don't know her reservation situation. I know the reservation out here on Long Island and the East End is you don't go out there unless you know somebody. Period. But but the girls that was there that was fast. If they wanted to date a dude in CI, their parents couldn't do nothing. If they bounced. It was just like, yo, I'm out. Yo, so and so is going to pick us up. We sliding out, and they slide out and go do whatever. Even when I was growing up, there was chicks out here. I'd be like, yo, that's a grown ass man that she's riding in the car with, and she's 15. But ain't nobody say nothing. It was just like, so drug dealers doing whatever.
But that's what I'm saying. Even if she didn't, even if that's the case, Kev, my thing is this: why are you waiting till now, where she's technically a legal adult, to complain, report this, that, asking for all of this to happen, when you know that he was allegedly brainwashing her when she was younger and grooming her and this and that? Why did you attack that then?
Because they probably didn't realize it for what it was back then. They probably didn't see it for what they saw it as, just, the situation was what it was, until she started, rebelling, and I'm taking off. I'm going here. I'm going there. She's supposed
right. That's when you start. That's when you say, "Well, look, I'm still responsible for you legally, so you ain't doing that ish. And if you go ahead and do it anytime anyway, I'm gonna call the cops."
Yeah, she was supposed to leave to go to college, and what she do? She bounced and she's an activist and everything. She done bounced and slid off with him somewhere. So
right, and they so here's her statement. She says, she posted online, "I'd like to make a statement to acknowledge tragedy that is the narrative of the general public and the assumptions made on my behalf by my family and friends regarding my stability and otherwise. My comrade Ezra Miller has only provided loving support and invaluable protection throughout this period of loss." That's the death of her friend. "I am now aware of this severity of emotional and psychological manipulation I was made to endure while my parents' home. I am an adult, and I deserve to feel authority in my own body." See, this is what I'm saying. She is now technically an adult, and she has the right to say she's an adult. She has the right to do adult things at this point. This is my life. There you go. It's her life. I was just about to say it's her life. This is my life. These are my decisions, and I'm disappointed in my parents and the press in every way. So that's end quote. That was a quote from her. So my point is this: I feel,
but that letter is to try to save face with the studio.
I know what it's for, but it ain't gonna work.
But you know what the sad part with that is? If she would have made any other kind of statement, then they'd be like, first you're praising them, saying it's my decision, but then if you use it, well, he was taking advantage of me. Like Ezra Miller put himself in a no-win scenario from Jump Street. I mean, he really has. He's wrecking his whatever future he might have had. And I don't think he had too much future anyway in Hollywood. Because all you would have been was the Flash. I can't see you being, an action hero or something, but maybe something. But
he was in the Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, that's not really that's not really a whole big accomplishment. Sorry.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's better than nothing, bro.
True.
So, it's more than what you can say for some other actor. Or not you. I'm just saying. I'm saying even other actors that are out there. Some of his peers. So my point is, all I'm saying is this: I don't know what's true, what's not true. If he groomed her from when she was a young age, that's very possible, being that he was hanging out with her when she was a young age. But my thing is, I personally am tired of everyone talking about how someone came in and manipulated their child. Okay, but how did that happen on your watch? That's all I'm saying. How did it happen on your watch?
You can understand that. It's easy.
It's not easy.
And this because he's Ezra Miller and he has money. He's famous. He could take her. That's really
this is the part that people leave out, and it's the same thing with R. Kelly.
Yep.
The
And that's
people,
Ezra Miller working for Burger King.
especially the new group of young women that parents were saying, "Oh, he did this and he did that, and he manipulated them, and he's holding them hostage, and this, that, and the other." Right now, I'm saying whether all that's true or not, I don't know. But the point is, why did you let your child start even communicating with R. Kelly?
Yep.
And especially the ones that knew, oh, he was gonna produce her music or whatever it was that he used, that excuse he used to get into their world. They knew he was R. Kelly, and this is after the fact that he was on trial about the whole thing with the young girl that the case that he beat. So this is R. Kelly. You already know about the history of him, and you still allowed your underage daughter to communicate with R. Kelly. So at that point, and trust me, I know it's I'm saying it because I guess I come from an era and I raised my kids a certain way, and I know what I would do. But unfortunately, a lot of parents after our era raised their kids other ways, where the kids kind of raise themselves and make their own decisions at young ages. I noticed from talking to Gen Zers and young millennials that always talk about how their parents did this and broke their trust and blah blah blah. Like what? Like look, I'm just sitting like,
didn't give me that new iPhone. I hate him.
I hate them. Or I told my I'm just like, look. So I understand that too, but bottom line is this: I hate when people tell the whole story. Don't conveniently leave out the part where this dude Ezra Miller was hanging with your daughter since she was like 15 or something like that, maybe even younger.
13.
How the hell are you letting a 13-year-old hang with an adult? And if she rebels and do it herself, why didn't you try to get, now that she's an adult, you want to have the courts step in and do something to Ezra Miller? That may not work. She's an adult at the end of the day.
Listen,
so all of these things they file in, but now let's get to what I want to get to is, what does Warner Brothers do at this point? Your Warner Brothers, what do you do? Because let's say that this doesn't stick because she's an adult, especially now that she's come out and made this statement. What are you going to say? Oh, well, he made her do it. It's possible, but not likely. You know what I mean? Like, it's possible. So no, the likely thing is this: when people say you're brainwashed, well, when you're brainwashed, no one's making you do anything. You're making those decisions yourself. You're just brainwashed. You're making them based on
hold up. Let's this brainwash stuff. Now, can some girls be manipulated? Yes,
of course.
But let's keep it a buck. And 9 times out of 10, in most cases, and I'm not advocating for what R. Kelly or any of these predators have done, because that's what they are. They're predators. You see that a girl is fast, and instead of telling her sit her fast ass down somewhere and grow up and live your life and be a teenager and enjoy teenage things or find boys your age, your pervert ass want to go and take advantage of them. And that's what the problem is. It's a twofold thing. The predator and the girl allowing herself to be prey because it's what she wants, unfortunately. And then that's where the manipulation and the mind bending. But then they realize that all too late, that they're in a situation they can't get out of, and now you stuck. And now you want to call mommy or you want to reach out for help. When everybody was trying to tell you, yo, fall back. It's a reason why. It's just like thank God, not in my family that I know of, but you hear the stories of people in their families where they say they got that uncle that you don't be caught alone with that uncle, or so and so's friend. You don't be caught alone with so and so's friend. You know what it is, and 9 times out of 10, if a girl is in that situation, and again, I'm not saying it's right, I'm just speaking the facts. 9 times out of 10, the teenage girl is so infatuated with wanting the attention of a dude that, and this could be, and here's the sad part. A lot of people try to say, oh, it's because they come from broken homes. No. A lot of these girls don't come from broken homes. A lot of these girls just they come from regular homes where the parents give them the right amount of love and everything they're supposed to get, but because they want to do what they want to do, they get caught up.
You get teen mom. That's
no,
when you get
I mean, like I said, well, yeah. I mean, the bottom line is like what I was saying. To me, if it said there in the article, the parents said he befriended her when she was 12 years old. Well, why would you let a grown man befriend your 12-year-old daughter or 12-year-old son, 12-year-old anybody? You know, that's number one. And what people conveniently leave out, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. The truth shall set you free. Because you mentioned it earlier, Ralph. Because he's a celebrity, he has money, and he may possibly they let it slide, and that's the unfortunate part about it. And that's how so many people in high and I don't want to say higher positions, because he's just a man. He's just a man with a better job than you. But the bottom line is he's still just a dude, right? So but this is what happens. A lot of people let stuff slide because, like I said, I bring up R. Kelly again. Once again, not defending R. Kelly, but the people that let that happen is because he was R. Kelly, and he could change your life. He really could. He could change your life.
The same thing goes for Hollywood execs. All of these Hollywood execs, they wait till these kids turn 14, 15, and 16, and then they grow and tell the person to stay home.
Man, let me tell you something. So yes, they do it, because think about it. There was that dude from Nickelodeon who was, the guy who made all those great shows, and he was, grooming some of these kids, and there was another exec. I don't know if he's from Nickelodeon, but he might have been from one of those, or Disney, whatever. It was one of them execs that ended up marrying one of these girls from like Victorious or whatever, like one of them shows, because he was grooming her since she was on that show. You know what I mean? And she was little, young at that time. So it happens. It definitely happens. And there's situations where the parents are in agreement with it, and if that's the case, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but if the parents are in agreement with it, then there's really nothing anyone else can do about it. You know what I mean? So
I say it like this: if the parents are in agreement with it, then you know what? That's the blood sacrifice. Let that parent be the blood sacrifice.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you got to think about it, even for years, the parents would agree to a lot of stuff, long as they were getting checks. And then when them checks stopped coming, now all of a sudden they want to talk about. Let's be honest. When them young girls that the parents knew about was messing with R. Kelly, and they was getting bread out of the deal, or if there was any bread coming out of the deal, now all of a sudden it's okay. But when the bread stops, now everybody got to start going at. Like I said, has nothing to do with R. Kelly's predatory taste. That's nothing to do with what I'm saying. Has nothing to do with that. I'm saying tell the whole story. There has to be a way that these parents letting their kids, either you are one just not involved in your kid's life at all, for them to sneak under your nose and go into a whole relationship with a grown-ass man, or two, you knew it was going on and you let it slide for whatever reason, and then now it's getting to the point where you wait till you can't legally really do anything, and now you want to start filing paperwork. That's the problem I have with it. So now, once again, you're Warner Brothers. What do you do about this? Do you wait and let it unfold and see where it goes? Or do you just say, you know what, this dude is popping up too much in the damn news. Let's just get rid of him altogether. If you get rid of him now and it turns out that, he beats all of this and it's not, nothing is proven, what's the deal? I think if he doesn't get his ish together, if it gets any worse, they might scrap the movie altogether, dude. Because at this point, you can recast him for future Flash appearances. You're gonna recast him and shoot the whole movie over? I don't think Warner Brothers gonna spend that kind of money to do that.
I'm gonna tell you that, right. The second part, whether he is found innocent or guilty, you gotta fire him anyway. Because the main thing in this is the court of public opinion. Even though, because there's a lot of people in here that are guilty as hell, but the court finds you innocent, that doesn't mean that you're innocent. Mm-hmm. But for Warner Brothers, with the problem with the Flash movie, I'm sorry, if it's from what I understand, it's already done. You got to put it out there because you got too much more of your extended universe is riding on the Flash movie.
Mm-hmm.
You've already promoted the fact that Michael Keaton is coming back as Batman.
Yeah,
right. You just can't let that sit on the shelf. So you got to do something with now. Now, do you sit there and say, we'll just put it right to HBO Max? We put it on DVD. We don't put it in the theaters. You got to do something with it. You're not going to sit on a $200 million movie. You're not going to do that.
You can't do that. You can't throw that away. I agree. You can't throw it away.
Once again, Warner Brothers. Once again. Now this time you get the credit. This is not your fault. But if you mess this up, then it is your fault. And it sucks that you guys are being put into that position. But you're gonna have to fire Ezra Miller just like Disney did. They fired Johnny Depp. They let him go. Now he's found innocent. Will they bring him back? Maybe bring him back as Jack, and the only reason Disney would bring Johnny Depp back as Captain Sparrow is because the court of public opinion is siding with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, right.
So now you're like, but nobody's gonna side with Ezra Miller. You're gonna have to fire his ass, and then you're gonna figure out something to do with the Flash movie. I'm saying some way you're gonna have to release it some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Speaking of court of public opinion, but I'll make this the last thing I'll talk about. But I have to say this, this court of public opinion and the just the overall public with social media, they go out of their way to make stupid petitions and things like that don't make sense. Now, certain things work, but my point is this: they had a petition for Johnny Depp's lawyer to replace Amber Heard as Mirror. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So something stupid, right? And they got mad signatures from it. But now here's a petition that needs to go into play. We need to start a petition, #pay Nev Campbell, and give her back on the Scream project. Pay her what she definitely deserves. She is the face of that franchise. And, I
missed what you said. I pay who?
Nev Campbell. Give Sydney her money.
Yeah.
Give Sydney her money.
Pay Sydney her money. Yeah. Because she's not going to be on the new Scream. And for good reason. She just didn't feel the money she was offered was, now let's be honest. And Matthew Lillard has come out and what's the word? Defended her, backed her play, because the bottom line is she's the face of that franchise. And the last Scream movie, it's not like they're hurting. The last Scream movie was a hit. It made money. And it made money post-pandemic.
That
So
last Scream movie was the bomb.
yeah, it was good. It was
yeah,
good.
it was good. I thought it was. I thought it was decent.
It was good, but the bottom line is, how do you, like I said, I don't care. Her and Jamie Lee Curtis, ironically, had a conversation similar to this once before when they were on like a Zoom call or something together, and Jamie Lee made a statement somewhere around the lines of saying, they talk about how they always promise. This is so effed up. How they always promise you back in, but it's always an excuse where you don't end up getting back in. Now, this is something that Jamie Lee Curtis mentioned and Neve Campbell doubled down on, because she was like, yeah, I was offered back in at some point with the Scream franchise, and then they come up with all these excuses. Oh, what we're reporting to the public, we really didn't make that money, so they ended up not giving you back in and stuff like that. So bottom line is this, man, it's time to pay this woman, man. She never disclosed her salaries throughout the Scream movies, but Courtney Cox, who was technically supporting character, even though she was a bigger name than Neve Campbell at the time, a little bit bigger, name at the time, and then became bigger as it went on. I think she got paid like $1 million for the first Scream, and then like somewhere, I think her highest paid for Scream was somewhere around 3 or 4 million or something like that for the, all the ones she pitted. So you have to assume Neve had to be getting close to that, if not a little bit more, because she was the lead.
I'd say at least 6 by the third one, by the third one. If Courtney's getting 3, you got to give her 6.
Right, exactly.
5, 6, 7,
5 or 6. Yes, at the time, and even as time went on, Courtney Cox, because of Friends, she was a little bit of a bigger name, right? But Neve was the lead, period. You know what I'm saying? She was the lead, and I mean, I think it's crazy. Her net worth, now that could contribute to a lot of things, but her net worth is only $10 million, and I think that's kind of weird because, she did all of those Scream movies, so you got to wonder what was her pay for those movies. And like she admitted to Jamie Lee Curtis, she never got back in, even though they promised her back in. So Jamie Lee said something similar to that too, and she was just
where's
like,
the lawyers at to get that money?
Huh?
Where the lawyers at? Because if they promised back in, and if it was see, it probably wasn't written.
Maybe, or like what Neve apparently what she said was they do all this hocus pocus and come up with all these excuses about they didn't make the money. So now they didn't make the money that probably was written in the contract that they needed to make for her to get back in. So
I blame at this point, I blame her agents and her lawyers and her agents' lawyers for not going and getting that money. If that money was promised and that franchise is still making money to this day, she owed a check.
Wait a minute, I gotta interject here because I mean, weren't we kind of saying the same thing when we were talking about Scarlett Johansson? You was like, no, she don't deserve it. So what's the difference?
because that was a totally different situation. That was
the same shit.
No, because that Scarlett Johansson wasn't. That whole thing what we were talking about didn't have nothing to do with back end money. That was a whole totally different situation. So no,
it was box office money. It had to make a certain amount of money in the box office, and then she got a bonus or whatever. Or
that's back end money.
No, that's not back end money. That's a bonus. That's not back end money, Ralph. Back end money is after the box office receipts are tallied, and then you get that money off the back end.
You get a percentage. It kind of is. I know it is. A bonus is a bonus, but it is based off of a certain amount of
of
money
performance.
that it made. So
Yeah,
basically,
it was
what
it was
Nev
a
Campbell was
performance
saying
bonus.
was, whatever that number that they came up with that the movie had to do for her to get the back end money, they claim that they didn't make it. Or they made, they can manipulate the numbers themselves. So even if you ask to see the books, they can probably, well, look, see, we didn't make that money, so you're not gonna get
It's
it back.
still telling Tom Hanks Forrest Gump didn't make no money. They still telling this shit to this day.
They still telling
Forrest Gump didn't make no money. Really?
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one I don't understand.
Yo, I mean, I'm telling you, bro. These, just like you said, I understand what you say. Yeah, go get these lawyers, whatever. But not everybody is about to spend millions of dollars on these lawyers fighting. These companies got better lawyers.
But no, but see, that's the thing. That's why I said that was my point. That was my point about Scarlett Johansson. The lawyers that were fighting for her was through her agency. That's what I don't understand. The agency has lawyers. If you're told you're supposed to get some money, then the agency lawyers are supposed to step up for you.
It all depends on your agency. If it all depends on if they feel it's worth the money to go after this. It depends on who your agents are. Who's your agency? Scarlett Johansson is one of the biggest agencies out there.
Oh, they going out there.
They got the money. They got the money to get the lawyers to go out there. You know what I mean? So her agent might be a smaller agent, or agency might be a smaller agency, or you got also, let's be honest, the agencies also compartmentalize people, and they might feel Nev Campbell's not important enough for us to go after that money. You know what I'm saying? But whereas Scarlett Johansson is, she's one of the highest paid actresses of our time right now. You know what I mean? So she's right up there on the top of the list. If you look up list of highest paid actresses, I think she's like number one. She's like one or two of the highest paid actresses right now, through 2022.
All that Marvel money, nothing else. Yeah. Marvel money.
Right, that's all Marvel money. But she is, just being her character and amongst all those titans that she's amongst that's getting paid a lot of money. They had to up her ante because she's one of the only females, at the time. So, and that's a whole nother show we could do, because I really did want to talk about how these females, based on this Nev Campbell thing, how the females, as it's gotten better, but they still are not making this money, dude.
They definitely
they're not making the money, man. It's gotten better. It's gotten better, but it's not.
And shout out to Brie Larson. I just wanted to say that because her commercial, her Nissan commercial, just popped up on TV.
Oh, Brie Larson, but she puts in the work, man. She posted a picture of her very nice chiseled body, and but she had bruises. She's like, yeah, when the workout bruises or something like that. She was saying, she training so hard, you see all these bruises on her body. I'm like, yo, that's what's up. But it still was a nice body, I have to say that. But yeah, anyhow, so that I wanted to end it with that. I wanted to talk, we'll probably set up for next couple of shows, or one of the next shows, maybe get some people on and talk about. I want to get some actresses on, some working actresses on, and talk about, equal pay. And I mean, the funny thing is the equal pay runs so deep because they trying to catch up with men. Hell, shoot, there's women, black women don't even get paid the money that white women actors get paid. So I mean, you got I looked up a list, and like I said, Scarlett Johansson was way on top, but like Viola Davis is somewhere in the middle, and she makes like, I want to say like 15 million. I guess that's like they were posting like what they pretty much make per picture, I guess, per movie. So she was somewhere around 15 million, and she might have been the only black woman on that list. This is a more recent list, so like Holly Berry and stuff like they're not going to be on that list because they haven't really made a lot of stuff recently.
I think Zoe Saldana should be on that list if that's the case. Shit, almost every movie that she's in,
that don't mean she's making that kind of money.
But she got,
just because the movie she's in makes a lot of money, don't mean that she's making a lot of money.
Shit, she got 3 franchises underneath her belt. She's one of the few people that's got three separate franchises in her belt, and it could have really been a 4th if they did it in the Colombiana. She could have had a 4th.
No, I get it, but she wasn't on that list. Everybody. The lowest that it went down to was like, it might have went as low as like 13, something like that. So maybe she's getting under that because she wasn't on that list. I've looked at several of them. She's not on any of them. So that's a shame given like the information you just gave, right? Yeah. She's involved in all of these huge franchises, but and she's always an integral part of these franchises. It's not like she's just some person strolling by, you know what I'm saying? So, but if Scarlett Johansson was the only Avenger, quote unquote, Avenger actor or MCU actress that was on that list. Did I see Brie Larson? I don't think I saw her either. She might have been on there, but she's new to the MCU. She's not even. I don't even consider her Scarlett Johansson is an MCU actor. You know what I mean? So, but all of the other ones, I didn't see any other ones from it. I didn't see Zoe. I didn't see Elizabeth Olsen. Like I didn't see them. So we'll see. Let's dive into that next week. Let's talk about the pay, equal pay, not only amongst women and men, but amongst the some of these black actresses that are killing it. I mean, some of these black A-list actresses, like Viola's the only one who's on the list, but like Lupita and these people that are like A-list black actresses, like what type of money are they getting? You know what I mean? And why aren't they getting the big bucks like the other ones are? Viola, I think, just remember she had the thing with ABC, and she does a lot of movies, and she just worked. I think Viola just probably was just like, look, y'all got to pay me.
Too many movies, too many Oscar nominees.
Yeah, nominations.
Plus she got the Oscar, so yeah, you got.
She got the Oscar. Yeah,
she got an Oscar.
Here's the problem. The problem is that an actor is not considered an actor. Unfortunately, we have actor and actress, when technically speaking, it should only be actor.
Yeah, it's female actor and male actor. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
But what it should just be, what it should just be is actor. Period. Yes, they are male, female, cis, non-cis, whatever they are. He, she, they, he, why, whatever. But the bottom line is, an actor is an actor, and it should be paid accordingly. Yes, okay, maybe yes, your name brings a draw.
Yes, I definitely agree with what you're saying, and I also agree with your accolades should up your ante. I agree with that as well. If you have that, what's the point of having Oscars and stuff like that if it doesn't help you in no sort of way? So right here, real quick, the top 20 plus highest paid actresses in 2022. This was updated June 2nd, 2022. Number 1 is Scarlett Johansson at $56 million.
Jeez.
It's at $56 million, right? She said this 36-year-old actress has topped the list of the highest earning actress since 2018. Here's a surprise one, number 2. Sofia Vergara.
TV money.
$43 million.
That's not a surprise. She was racking up that TV money.
I know she was racking up that TV money. Yeah, I know. She's killing it. Reese Witherspoon is number 3 at $35 million. She's also getting some TV money right now on that Apple TV show. Number 4 is Angelina Jolie at 35.5 million. Number 5 is Gal Gadot at 31.5 million. Number 6 is Julia Roberts still at 30 million. Jennifer Lawrence is number 7 at 28 million. Jennifer Aniston is tied at 28 million, but she's got her at number 8. Melissa McCarthy, 25 million. Kaylee Cuoco, 25 million. Now this is funny. I like how they said this. A self-made actress, meaning she probably didn't have no real training or anything like that. A self-made actress who charges $1 million for every scene.
Who's that?
That girl getting that, buddy. Kaylee Cuoco.
That's TV money. That's all big.
She getting that. She charges $1 million for every scene. In 2020, she earned around $25 million from her acting gigs and endorsements. She has born. She was born and brought. Okay, yeah. Then you got Meryl Streep at 24 million, number 11 on the list. Number 12 is Margot Robbie at 23.5 million. Number 13 is Charlize Theron at 23 million. 14 is Emily Blunt at 22.5 million. 15 is Nicole Kidman at 22 million. And 16 is Ellen Pompeo from, Grey's Anatomy at 19 million. Now we're under the 20 million mark. Mila Kunis is 16 million. Elizabeth Moss is 16 million. Viola Davis is 15.5 million. Only black on the list. And number 20 is Kate Blanchett at 12.5 million. So for whatever reason, these other actors are not on this list, and the lowest that they went was 12.5 million. So that means they're based on this criteria, they're bringing in less than that. So, food for thought, something we can really pick up next week. So, that's it, man.
I recently heard, and I know in closing, I think the other problem with that too is Hollywood still thinks that black people don't watch TV or go to the movies, which I don't understand that.
That should have been smashed a long time ago, but it definitely should have been smashed when Black Panther came out.
But it wasn't, because I can't remember what interview that was. I believe it was Jamie Foxx that I heard say it.
Mm-hmm.
That he was talking to an exec, and they had said to him, well, black people don't watch TV.
That's crazy, because right now, more than ever, it's the black people that get these shows, these movies and shows trending on social media. It's mostly black people that do that. Like when Bird Box started trending, that was mostly black people watching that. And they were talking about that, they the ones that got it, helped it go viral. You know what I'm saying? So, because there was people making parodies and joking and this and that about Bird Box. And I mean, almost every person that I heard of that movie from was black people, was a black person online. Of course, white people watching it, but I'm just saying. So to me, I'm like, that's crazy. But anyway, I definitely want to dive into this. I'm hoping I can bring on a couple of working actresses, maybe even I would love to get an agent or somebody on to talk about that, because they deal with how actors get paid, right? Like, what is this whole thing about? I mean, I have a theory. Obviously, it's just, once again, old Hollywood still in there, stuck in their old ways. And Hollywood used to be built off of men. You know what I'm saying? Men were the ones doing all of this stuff because they weren't giving women chances really to do certain things. But I just think it's old Hollywood, and it's gonna keep going on until these old motherfuckers die off.
You know what part of it is? Can they put asses in the seats? If a black person is beyond a Denzel or Jamie Foxx or Eddie Murphy, can they put asses in the seats? I gotta sit there and say that you do have a crop of people in Hollywood that are black, that yes, they can put asses in the seats. And asses don't necessarily mean it's gotta make $600 million. It could be a good 34. Like, for example, like Sanaa Lathan. During the time period, she released a bunch of movies and she kept putting asses in the seats. They weren't box office Goliaths, but they were steady hits.
Hell, Girl Trip put asses in the seats.
Yeah. So and I think that's part of the problem when it comes to women with the pay. Like they say, well, okay, if we put a woman in the head of this movie, they're gonna put ass in seats. And 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. They will put asses in seats.
And once again, if you watch that show, The Offer, you really get a chance to see how because it had a character in there. It's played by Tom Hanks' son, who is playing this character who's basically all about bottom line and money. And he's like, and at one point he had took over for Bob Evans, which he should have never had. And he has no creativity. He's all business. And he's like, look, we don't care about all this creative garbage y'all talking about. We need to know if it's going to make money. Yeah. We need to know if it's going to make money. And you should do this. You should do that. You know, he made Francis cut some of The Godfather because he was like, they didn't want to take the chance. Oh, it's an artistic expression. No, we don't care if it's too long. Cut it, because we can only show it a certain amount of times because it's so long. That's less showings in the theater. That's less money it's gonna make, right? And even all the way down to the marketing where they're using they're trying to put Marlon Brando on the cover. They're using these stupid taglines: "Leave the gun, take the cannoli," and all this other stuff. All these stupid taglines, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, they're like, yo, we don't need all of this stuff. Just put the cover of the book with the hands and the thing there, the puppet master or whatever. Like, just put that. That's it. Oh no, this looks stupid. People might mistake it for like a swastika or something. Like, what? Like, what are you doing? No. We got to make sure it sells. People need to know that Marlon Brando's in this movie so it can sell. So let's put him on the cover of no, man. So that's what there's that as well. So, but anyway, let's tackle it next week. Yeah. Thanks everybody for
I like to put this on this show for next week. The question that Joseph keep asking about the gun violence in movies. I think we should talk about that next week.
Okay.
Bill Maher on his show on Friday brought this, and he does make some very good points. Even my mother for years has been saying, she thinks that a lot of the violence in America, in the world nowadays, is based on movies. And I keep saying, no, it's not based on movies. If you're dumb, stupid, you're just going to be dumb, stupid, whether you saw it in the movie or not. Now, can it give someone an idea? I'm not dumb. Yeah, no. It can give someone an idea to do something. No, it can.
No.
Well, anything can give someone an idea.
Exactly. Anything can give somebody an idea. A movie, a television show, a book.
You can see something on the news and it gives it. That's mostly what gives the people the ideas. Copycats that see stuff on the news.
but let's keep it a buck. That's exactly what that is. That's a copycat being just stupid and deranged and copying off of, because they just got a sick fantasy of killing people, so they decide to follow in the footsteps of somebody else. But for the most part, most of these killings are we still don't understand why the Spanish kid from Texas went back to a school of elementary kids and killed them.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? To me, people tell me I'm crazy when I say this, but I honestly think that the government be setting these people up to go out and do this, because it just makes no sense. Like, why would an 18-year-old? I can see, all right, you got issues with your grandmother, whatever. You shoot her in the face. All right, I'm not condoning it, but you did that. But then you're just gonna go and fuck it, I might as well kill some elementary school kids.
Well, I mean, it all depends on the type of person, and he knows that he can overpower them. He's faster, stronger than them. He could probably kill more of them than if he went to a school where there were people his age, his height, his weight, or bigger than him. You know what I mean? He's a classic POS, coward asshole who decided to go and terrorize these babies. You know what I mean? But regardless of the fact, like I said, man, it's all of that stuff. The gun violence. You know what I mean? Gun violence. It's really not really. I mean, I don't really know.
I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, watch that because he makes a good point. He says we're so quick to. He said like nowadays you can't even show the hero smoking a cigarette because we were all up in arms. Like you can't do fat shaming, slut shaming, all these different types of shaming. But yet gun violence just kind of goes under, and it's always under the measure of some kind of revenge.
Now that point he's making. Now I don't think gun violence, whatever. I get what you said. The point he's making about the comparison, I agree with. Everything is so. How is all of a sudden it used to be the reverse, right? Like back in the day, there was certain things that could be shown on TV, right? There's a certain level of stuff that can be shown on television, especially if it was broadcast television. Obviously you have a rating system for movies. So I really don't say that with movies because there's a rating system. That's why there's a rating system. So if it's rated a certain thing for violence and stuff like that, then that's what it is. So but I do understand. I get his point of what he's saying, where everybody makes a big deal about the stupid little things, such as if, like you say, you show somebody smoking, and it's like, oh my God, you're promoting bad health and smoking.
But they don't say nothing about the gun violence.
But they don't say nothing. And just to add to that point is the world, especially the generation now, is very desensitized to that stuff because the internet is actually, to me, made it worse because the internet, when you watch something on the internet, it's almost like you're watching it on TV, right? You're watching it on TV. It's almost like you're watching a movie. So yes, when you know to be desensitized to a movie because it's fiction, but if you're watching something on the internet, and I tell you this, the coward that got out and shot the people in Buffalo, someone sent me that video, dude. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I thought it was a video game when I first saw it. I was like, "What is this? A video game?" Because that's what he wanted it to look like. He had the helmet cam on, and he literally, you could see just his hands pop, 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 and he's shooting people, and they falling after one shot. And I'm like, my first 10 seconds of that, I was like, "Is this a video game?" And then I realized it's the video, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness." So yeah, the internet has desensitized everything and everyone. When you got people killing people on Facebook Live, you know what I'm saying? Because you're watching it on a screen, it's like automatically you're desensitized by it when it's real life. It's not fiction. You know what I'm saying? I think that, to be honest, more so than just gun violence in movies, I think the internet has helped desensitize people, for whatever reason. It's just, I think mentally you just don't think it's real as you're looking at it. And then it kicks in. Because like I said, I had no idea that was the actual video. Because I'll be honest, if I knew it was that video, I wouldn't have watched it. But when I saw it and I realized what it was, I turned it off. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. But I literally thought it was a video game. The way he did it, it looked like one of them video games that people play, the first person shooter games. That's exactly what it looked like, because all you saw was his hands and the gun, poop 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 poop, and I'm like, yo, this looks like a first person shooter game. But let's see the end of there. All right, man, y'all have a good. Thanks for everybody that showed up. Andrew in the chat room, Joseph, that was a good point you brought up. Thanks for bringing that up, and thanks for holding down the chat room as usual. We'll get back to y'all next week. We'll talk a little bit about the gun violence stuff, but I want to get into the female pay, equal pay for females, and why they're making what they're making and why they're not making what they should be making, and hashtag pay Sydney.
Give Sydney her bread.
Give her bread. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for showing up.
Deuces.
Peace.